Peter Kleppe has not even ruled out the possibility of Belgium disintegrating entirely should the country's political parties once again have trouble forming a government after the next nationwide poll. Surging support for Eurosceptic parties in Belgium, partly driven by resentment at accelerating federalism, has the potential to be highly embarrassing for the European Union, a Brussels-based expert has. Peter Kleppe also pointed out that a strong showing in the forthcoming federal election for Vlaams Belang, VB, and the new Flemish Alliance, NVA, will only encourage him to push for an independent Flanders, an outcome that would surely destroy the country at the heart of the bloc. Belgium is gearing up to take over the rolling presidency of the European Union on January 1, a period that will overlap with what is already being billed as a crucial vote on June 9. Between them, VB, 25%, and NVA, 21%, currently command the support of 46% of Belgians, according to Politico's most recent poll of polls on December 11. Both parties are more popular now than they were in the 2019 general election, when VB took 12% of the vote and NVA 16%. Consequently, VB won 18 seats in the 150-seat Chamber of Representatives and NVA won 20, with NVA, led by Bart de Wever, not ruling out the possibility of going into coalition with VB, led by Tom van Grieken. The two parties would appear to have a realistic chance of taking the 76 seats they would need to form a government, something that would send shockwaves through the nation's capital. Mr. Kleppe, editor-in-chief of BrusselsReport.eu, told Express, Vlaams Belang is a Eurosceptic party, hostile to ever greater transfers of powers to the EU level. It should be noted that the NVA, currently the second biggest party of the country, according to the polls, is also critical to centralization of power to the EU. He continued, it would be an embarrassment to those in Belgium hoping to transfer more power to the EU. Both parties support an independent Flanders, but NVA prefers a gradual approach. Asked to pinpoint the reasons for the groundswell of support of both parties, Mr. Kleppe pointed to discontent with disorderly migration, high taxes and high energy prices. He also suggested irritation at the EU itself certainly plays a role, explaining, many green regulations that are causing anger are driven by the EU. Still, most of the wrath is reserved for national policy. Both VB and NVA advocate Flemish independence, something which would by its very nature involve the break of Belgium as a country. Mr. Kleppe suggested the prospect was not realistic, looking at the fact that there is no majority for it in Flanders. However, he added, if it appears impossible to form a new federal government at one point, it may happen. Such an eventuality would not be a huge surprise either. It took 296 days for the formation of a government after the federal election of May 26, 2019, Mr. Kleppe stressed. Speaking yesterday, Belgian Prime Minister Alexander De Croo, who himself comes from Flanders, said, for Belgium, it is the 13th time that we will take over the presidency. We should know what we are doing. I am convinced that we have quite some experience.